Why do we all think that having a significant other in our lives will make us happy? Why do we think that if we do not have someone, we are worthless or we are less worthy than those who have? It is clear that social standards are set like that so that each person has to be in a couple to be worth of something. I recently broke up a long-term relationship, and to be honest, I feel devastated. I thought that this guy will be someone I will spend my life with. I completely ignored all the signs that it will not be so. Even though he's not a cheater, he is not a drug addict or an alcohol addict. He is pretty much introvert who doesn't like to hang out with the boys, who doesn't like having large companies or going out. He was mostly a family guy, spending time with me. But there was also something not right with that situation. No matter how perfect it seemed from the outside, well, perfect being an operative word, conditional word, but that there was still something that I couldn't see in the beginning. I was blinded because we all seem to show our faces, much better faces than we actually are. So in the end, he turned out to be someone who is pretty much perfectionist in most of the things, but only for someone else. For himself, he was not so much perfectionist. And we ended up having a lot of fights, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I packed up and left. It happened 6 days ago, and I feel devastated. At times I feel like I will die, because having someone like that, someone who was good and caring, who knew how to fix things around the house, but it wasn't enough. And let me tell you why it wasn't enough. I wasn't his family. I wasn't in his life like I was supposed to be. He was already divorced. He had a child from first marriage, and he was never intending to have anyone else feeling like a partner, like a woman in his life. I thought that he will make me his wife, or at least an equal partner. But all I ever felt was just like a person who was filling the holes in his life when his child was not around. I was the person who made a big sacrifice. I left my hometown, my family and friends, my job, and I came to his hometown so that we could be together. But he couldn't do so much as make me his equal partner. And instead of having a family with him, I felt like I was a third wheel, and he couldn't understand that. He thought that when I was angry, when I showed how discontent I was, that it was all pointed toward his daughter, but it wasn't. I just wanted to feel like his partner, like a person he loves. He actually didn't even allow me to put our mutual photo on a counter, because he didn't want his 12-year-old child to feel less loved or accepted if she saw his daddy loving someone else, instead of him seeing that it is a disrespect toward the person who made upside down, who turned the world upside down to be together with him. He just pointed out that it was wrong, and he didn't let me have it. We had a fight over that. Now I'm here alone. Luckily, I bought an apartment, a flat in his hometown, because I have a job now here, but I don't have anyone in this town. My family and my friends are in my hometown. So you see, now I have to live with the fact that I made a huge sacrifice for a man who never appreciated it. Now I ask you all, whoever has a partner in his or her life, is it worth it? Yes, I know that is worth it. People fall in love and they find true soulmates. I have few friends who have soulmates. They've been with them for years and they feel happy, and I see that they are content. Or at least it looks like that on the outside. But my best friend found her soulmate. She was lucky enough. I was her godmother at the wedding. And I'm so happy she did, because I've known her since she was a little girl. We went to school together. It is nice and it brings hope that true love exists. But let me tell you something. I don't believe that we all have true love written in our destinies. I also tried New Age philosophy of visualizing my perfect partner. I did that, and this guy came along, and he seemed perfect in the beginning. But with time, it turned out that he wasn't perfect. Well, no one is perfect, but I mean perfect for me. And where I am now, I'm in a place where I don't believe that there is someone perfect for me. I was so in love with him, and I still love him. He will never actually know how much I love him. Time will go, it will pass, and he will think that I forgot him. But I don't think I ever will, because I'm not that kind of a girl. So, why do I think that being single for some people is better? If you have to work so much to find someone, if you go on date after date and it doesn't happen for you, if you keep trying and it's failing, then maybe that is not for you. If you see people around you happy and you feel you're jealous or you're down, well, think about how much effort have you have done in your life to try to find your soulmate. And is it really worth it? The energy that you put to find someone, and yet it failed. Did you maybe consider the fact that it is not meant for you? So that is the first conclusion that I have after this devastating breakup. The first conclusion is, it is not meant for everyone to find their soulmates. The second conclusion that I found out over the years, single life has a lot of pros even though you think there isn't. But before I was in this long-term relationship, in my 20s, I was alone for a long time, overall for 10 years. Yes, partially it was because I chose to be alone, and partially because I was trying a few times and then I failed because all the dates I've been on were one worse after another. So I figured that it is better to find some other way to spend time and not to force being with someone. I actually spent so much time alone that when I found a first guy after that long period, I was like a virgin. I didn't know how to behave. And then this guy was a failure. He was a wreck because of his devastating breakup before me. In the end, it just went on for a few months, and we weren't a couple really because he was just healing with me. So we ended. After him, I was alone for another 3 years. Then I found another guy. This guy was an alcoholic. And I figured that out pretty soon into relationship, but I was already hooked on him. And for some reason, I wanted to save him from his alcoholic state. I wanted to save him from his bad childhood memories and give him a warm, loving home. So I worked my ass off to make him happy. But he didn't know how to appreciate it. So we spent 3 years pulling up and down, and we ended it. After him, I said to myself, I'm done with men. And if it is meant to be, he will appear. So I visualized a guy who I would like to have, a kind of guy that would fit into my life based on my personality. And so the last guy came, the one I broke up with a few days ago. We were happy. I was madly in love. He was my dream come true. He made effort. He was really nice and kind. He didn't drink or had any kind of substance abuse problem. He was a home person. But now, 3 years later and 1 year of living together, I'm reevaluating everything I ever thought about him, about me, about relationships, about being single versus being in a relationship, and if it is all worth it. It is very nice to cuddle at night, to have someone to hold you, to have someone who is supporting you, who is your shoulder to cry on, who takes care of you. But I was alone most of the time because he was working all the time. So when he would come home, he wasn't up to cuddling. Most of the time I would approach him and try to kiss him, and he just pulled me away. He just pushed me away. He didn't want to cuddle, he didn't want to kiss. At first we had regular intercourse, but then after some time and after many fights, it was becoming less and less. I ended up sleeping alone in my room, watching him and thinking how lonely I am next to him. It turned out that I was a disappointment. For some reason, I wasn't the person he fell in love with. He said he didn't want me there anymore when he was fighting me over things. I don't know if he meant it, but he acted like he meant it. Now I'm here in my apartment and I'm thinking, what is single and what is relationship? What are the differences and what is better? Even though my heart is bleeding and I'm still unhappy and devastated, somewhere deep down in my soul, I believe that being single is better. I told you reason number 1 and reason number 2. But there are all sorts of things that you can do as a single person. And having someone to cuddle, having someone to have sex, that is all just temporary. Those are all things that you have to wait and you have to plan. And when you plan to have sex with someone and to cuddle with someone, it usually doesn't happen in your time frame because they don't want to do that. And you end up dry and alone. So having someone means a lot of waiting, means a lot of planning, and those plans often fail. Having someone is sharing your life with a person who likes to do things in their own way. The relationship means having a lot of compromises, and usually it's not 50-50. It's one person making more of the compromises than the other, and then you end up feeling bad because you were the one who made all the sacrifice and it is not even acknowledged. For example, I cooked and cleaned in that house, and then I was sick. After Christmas I got so sick that I had temperature, my nose was blocked, my throat was sore, but I managed to go to work because there was no one to replace me there. And we had a huge fight a week after. He said that I didn't cook or clean. I said, well, listen, man, don't you remember how sick I was? I was barely able to get off my bed. And he said, if you went to work, you weren't sick. So there goes the understanding and support out of the window. So what does it mean? I didn't even have someone to make me a tea when I was sick. I was lying there on my bed and he was just hanging out with his daughter. I wasn't his family. I was just the third wheel. I was someone who was taking their space while I was sick. And he didn't acknowledge that because I went to work. At these troubled times, when you work and you have to keep your work with all the COVID shit and things that just happen, bad things that happen, we are not in liberty to just stay home and not go to work. I had temperature, but I was able to stand on my feet in the morning. So when I came home from work, I was just trying to heal so that I could go to work tomorrow. And there was no understanding. He was just saying that I'm lazy, that I never work, I never do anything at home. I don't need that. I don't want to be in a relationship where I am sick and I have to justify myself because I'm sick. I need a support. I want a person who will be there for me, who will make me tea, who will care for me, who will ask how I am. If his daughter was sick, he would just climb on top of her head and caress her with attention because it is his daughter and I wasn't his family. That is what I realized last week. That someone who doesn't care if you're sick or not, maybe doesn't even love you, and it's time to go. And that's what I did. I just picked up my stuff and I moved. I moved to my own flat, which I bought 6 months ago, knowing that it will not endure, that our relationship will fail. So I'm asking you to think, how many of you are staying in a relationship that is completely bad and you think that you have to be in that relationship? I love this man still and I will love him to the grave, but I said enough is enough. I picked up my stuff and went out, even though my heart turned to stone and it broke in millions of pieces, but I made it. I just picked up and went. I didn't want him to see my tears, but he saw. He saw how devastated I was, but I did it. I went and I just became single again. How many of you are staying in a relationship where your guy is not good, where your girl is cheating on you, where someone you're with doesn't respect you? How many of you are in those kind of relationships? Don't you understand that being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't respect you? I didn't even get cheated in this relationship. Not that I know of, but I think I didn't. I didn't have physical abuse. I didn't have that kind of bad stuff that some people are going through, but I still recognized that I'm not happy, that my desires are not fulfilled, that I'm not appreciated enough. I just want to be appreciated. I want to be happy. I want to have peace of mind. Don't stay in a bad relationship where you are unhappy because you are afraid to be alone, because you don't want to be in a society where you think that you are judged if you're single. Who cares what anyone thinks? I want to be happy. I don't want to fulfill norms of the societies. I don't want to look at other people and think, yes, I'm with someone and now I'm worth something in your eyes because I have someone. No, I want to be happy. If I'm with someone and it is a real relationship, it is a marriage or a partnership, then I have to be fulfilled. I have to be able to say that I love a person who loves me back the same way. If I don't have that, if I don't have respect, I don't want to be there. I want to be alone. Even though I'm falling apart now, I know that I made right decision. If someone doesn't love me enough, if someone doesn't care for me enough, then what am I doing in that relationship? Why are you staying in a relationship if you're not happy? I just want to make something out of myself. I want to spend my life being happy. And if I'm with someone who makes me miserable and doesn't fulfill me, then I don't want to be with that person. Think about, why are you staying there? Maybe you don't have an option. Maybe you don't have anywhere to go. But work on that. Try to see any option that is out there available, that you can move somewhere. Maybe you can rent an apartment. Have someone to take you temporarily, a friend, a family. Don't stay in a relationship just because you say that you don't have anywhere to go. If you don't have anywhere to go, I understand. It is okay. But make it work. Make something out of your life and try to find a way out. You deserve to be happy. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to be somewhere where you're not loved in a way that you need to be loved. I don't want to be where I'm not loved enough. I loved this man more than he loved me. I was aware of that, and I was willing to accept that I love him more. And he knew that I loved him more. But it is one thing to be in that kind of a relationship, and it's completely another to not be appreciated at all. When he lies that you're not doing anything, and in fact you are, then it's some kind of abuse. I didn't want to get abused. I just wanted to make him see that he's lying to my face just to make him feel good for mistreating me. So I didn't want to end my life with him in that kind of a relationship. It wouldn't survive anyway, but we are never going to make it to retirement, to our death, if we're going to disapprove our sickness, if we're going to be less supportive than we should. Friendship, support, companionship, respect. A lot of things are important in a relationship. Love is not the only thing. I'm sure he loved me, but he didn't have other qualities that I needed in a partner. I know that he loved me in his own way. And it wasn't that bad. He wasn't doing anything that bad that I should just pick up and leave without a word. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't appreciated after everything I've done for him. And I don't want to be there anymore. I know that it is a right decision. And being single is far better than being with someone and wait all day long to be appreciated, to be respected. Have faith in yourself and do something with yourself. Don't stay in a bad relationship just because you think you have to.